Hello everyone, I'm Thomas Kinkade. I'm known as the painter of light, and every painting that I create, I try to infuse with this radiant, nostalgic sense of light. You know, every painting that an artist creates is personal, and for me, no series I've ever worked on has been more personal than my Life Values collection. Now, you may remember the first piece in that collection was a work entitled Perseverance. I envisioned the life of the individual as being similar to a sailboat that sets out on a journey. Inevitably, you might face storms, but there's hope as we persevere through those storms. The second piece in that collection is the painting that we're unveiling today. That painting is entitled Courage. Courage is a work of personal meaning for me because it symbolizes what I see as the most dynamic aspect of God's love in our life. Courage depicts that same sailboat that I portrayed in my painting Perseverance, but now we see that the sailboat is coming near the shore. As you can see, the storm is still raging, although maybe it has subsided a little by this point. The wind is blowing over the scene, causing the treetops to bend in its wake. And I had so much fun painting all the little droplets of water in that wave as it crashes on the shore. There's a brick cottage as part of my imaginary lighthouse, and you can see the solidity of that brick in contrast with the forms of nature that seem to wave in the wind and the smoke that comes from the chimney that blows almost horizontally straight out of the chimney. Of course, the lights are on in the cottage and the lighthouse, suggesting that there is comfort and peace inside if you can just find your way through the storm. A pathway leads up into the distant forest, suggesting that perhaps the journey of life, like the journey across the ocean, continues on even when we reach the safe harbor. You know, as I worked on this painting, it seemed like different factors were being woven together in my life. In fact, I had an interesting insight as I was reading a book that I've been studying called Waking the Dead. It's by John Eldredge. He's one of my favorite inspirational writers. And he spoke in his book of courage, and he said that in Scripture, the heart is seen as the source of all creativity, courage, and conviction. It's the source of our faith, our hope, and of course our love. It is the wellspring of life. And then later he says that creativity flows from the heart as well. He says you can paint by numbers, but the result will lack something essential to art. Now, I have been many times interviewed and questioned by collectors and so forth about what is it that I think is the center of my art? What's the most important thing? Yes, I paint light. Yes, I paint romantic visions of nature. I paint hopeful scenes. But you know, really, I think the essential thing to me is that I pour my heart into each canvas. I let God's creativity flow through me, His inspiration, to pour that love, that heart of passion into each painting. Of course, one aspect of that moment of inspiration is the light as it pours through. That was very symbolic in this painting. In fact, as you see this painting in the viewing room of your own home or in any environment where you can dim those lights, change that lighting effect, you will see the glow really begin to emerge, particularly in the area surrounding the lighthouse and the cottage. Now, I worked with glazes to create a sense that the entire painting was engulfed in a subtle sense of shadow and a little darker tone, and then that radiant burst of light was just poured onto the area of land surrounding the cottage and the lighthouse, almost as though that moment of inspiration, right when all hope seems lost, that moment of courage broke through the clouds and lit up the scene. Of course, another interesting aspect of courage is that it is another in my ongoing portrayal of the subject matter of lighthouses. I love the drama of a lighthouse out on the coast. And of course, my collection of lighthouses began with my painting, which was entitled Beacon of Hope. And of course, the second piece that followed up the following year was entitled A Light in the Storm. And from that point till now, I have done several scenes of lighthouses, each long awaited by collectors who seem to enjoy that symbolic vision of the lighthouse, a very powerful image. Some of them featured stormy settings, some of the paintings were more tranquil. All of them depicted that moment of guidance that we need so much in our life. The lighthouse symbolic of God's hand as He guides us through difficult times. As I completed Courage, one of the first paintings to be released in the year 2004, I'm reminded that this is my 20th year as a published artist. This is a painting that will be in my 20th anniversary collection. And I'm excited because my vision as an artist has really always stayed the same, and that is simply to create paintings that can go into people's homes and bring them a little inspiration, a little hope, and in this case, a little courage. God bless each of you as you share the light.